everyone, and welcome to This Day. Today is Wednesday, October 4th, and I'm Bobby Higgins. Coming up, we have Jerry Slusewitz with Pacific Financial Planners. He's going to educate us about what makes a successful retirement. And after Jerry, we will have Captain Brett Cowdell from the Orange County Fire Authority, and he's going to give us some tips about preventing falls, especially among the older community. And this brings us now to today's Stay Informed. It's time to meet the candidates. You don't want to miss the chance to get to know the candidates running for the Golden Rain Foundation Board during a Meet the Candidates Forum on Monday, October 16th at 10 a.m. in the boardroom. This will be located in the Community Center on El Toro Road. And now, taking a look at today's weather. Today, we will have brilliant sunshine and warm temperatures with a high of 86 and a low of 59. It is looking just absolutely beautiful out there. Tomorrow on Thursday, it'll again be sunny and warm with a high of 88 and a low of 62. Friday will be sunny and nice with a high of 86 and a low of 62. Saturday brings more sun with a high of 84. And on Sunday, there'll be morning clouds, but then mostly sunny with a high of 81. Definitely a beautiful week ahead. And now taking a look at the sunrise and sunset. It is officially fall, even though the weather would seem to be that it's summertime. So I thought it'd be nice to see some beautiful fall leaves. Today's sunrise was at 6:47 a.m. and your sunset is at 6:31 p.m. tonight. Stay with us. We have a great show coming your way. Up after the break is Pacific Financial Planners. But first, let's take a look at today's meetings.
Achieve a level of comfort you've never known before. The Daydreamer will take you through smooth movements and guide you effortlessly into your favorite positions. Adjust the power pillow for ideal support for your head and neck. This and our positioning technology allows for infinite relaxation. Lay back in zero gravity while watching TV and put your body and mind at ease. Lift your spirits and find your favorite daydream. Contact your local Golden retailer today.
Dr. Farhumand and her associates at Brilliant Smile are excited to announce we now feature cone beam computed tomography. CBCT scans have many benefits over traditional x-rays. They are fast, safe, non-invasive, and provide better care to our patients. The 3D images provide an accurate view of teeth, bones, and soft tissue. It allows us to diagnose and treat more effectively. Also, it features modern diagnosing of sleep apnea by checking the airways and obstructions. Get started today. Call Brilliant Smile, Laguna Woods Village favorite dentist.
By staying home, the community of Orange County has made a difference. But doing so shouldn't mean putting your own health at risk. Hogue wants you to know that safe, quality care is available. Don't ignore or delay the medical attention you need. From routine checkups to revolutionary treatments, Hogue is here for you, just as we have been for almost 70 years. Like no other time before, your healthcare choices matter. Get the care you need from the name you trust.
Hi, welcome to Pacific Financial Planners. We focus on income replacement for your retirement. We have over 3 decades of professional money management experience. We personalize a plan that's right for you and your family. You only get one shot at retirement. Don't you think you better get it right? So give us a call for your free consultation. We can do this over the phone, via Zoom, or in person.
Welcome back to This Day. Joining me now is Jerry Slusewitz with Pacific Financial Planners. Jerry, it's always a pleasure to see you. Well, I look for one of my favorite guests for sure.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate being here.
So I wanted to talk about you're on the cover of a magazine here.
Yeah, just recently, Sorbet magazine, they did a cover story about our money management system. I call it the SAFER system, sound advice for everyone's retirement. SAFER, a little acronym there.
Yes, wonderful. And we're going to be talking more about that today, about retirement. So what makes a successful retirement?
Well, I mean, people need two things, right? They need to have their health and they need to have some wealth to pay for everything. I mean, being 80 years old and flat broke is not a good situation, and being 80 years old and having a huge bank account and all kinds of investments and no health, that's not a good situation either. So it's that combination, having health and wealth, that's what you need for a successful retirement.
And so you are going to be at the Health and Wellness Expo coming up this Saturday.
Yes,
and so I guess at first it seems like, well, why a financial guy? But as you were kind of explaining, it kind of goes hand in hand.
Again, I use different approaches to money management. That's why it's the safer system. I use different approaches to marketing. I'm going to be probably the only financial guy at a Health and Wellness Expo. Well, why? Well, guess what? Your financial health is equally as important, as I just stated, as your regular health. So I'll be their financial doctor, so to speak, there. And there's also the mental health aspect of it all, too. They're saying statistically that over 50% of people who make somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000 a year are worried about money. Can you imagine making less than that? It's like 70%, 75% of those people are worried about money. So there's only less than 5% of the population that makes more than $250,000 a year. So it's a big problem for a lot of people. And again, so for mental health, you want to make sure that your money is safe and protected and those type of things.
Absolutely makes sense. So is there a better way or a better system to retire?
Well, again, what I have is this 5-step retirement master plan. And it's really important that there's basically 5 areas that you have to make sure are taken into account. And when I meet people all the time here in the village over the last 30 years, I find that they're lacking in 1 or 2 of these areas.
And so you're going to be... You're doing both financial planning and money management and the 5-step retirement master plan. So, and this is stuff you're going to be going over at the next financial forum.
Right. Again, the basic concept is one. First, you've got to have a plan. A lot of people don't have a plan. They have a lot of investments. It's like a series of islands, like the Hawaiian Islands. There's just a bunch of islands out there, but they're connected by being a state. Well, what I find is people have investments, they have no idea why they have them. They have it because that's when they sold their cabin up in Arrowhead. They have another one because they inherited money from their aunt. You know what I mean? So that became, and none of them are really working together. So you have to have a plan for income, because once you give up your paycheck and you're retired, like people here in the village, most of them, some are still working obviously, but you don't want to, you've got to be able to have that money last, and you've got to have it produce enough income to sustain your lifestyle. You've got to be able to protect your assets from losses. I mean, the market last year was down 27% by the S&P at one point in time through the year. Can you imagine if you had $1 million and suddenly that becomes $730,000? I mean, how do you feel about yourself? Are you happy? Are you doing the same thing? Or does that cause that mental anguish, that mental stress?
Yes, it causes a lot of stress, if you're watching that on a day-to-day basis and going, oh my God, I lost this much today.
And they say, well, the market always comes back, it always comes back. And it does. Sometimes it takes decades. It does over history. And just recently, from 2000 to 2013, the market was at the same place 13 years later. And if you're drawing income off of that, say you're drawing 4 or 5% income off that money, off that investment, well, that's off the million, let's say, 50,000 a year. Well, when it went down to under 750,000, now you're drawing a much higher percentage. It doesn't come back. And it's not that financial planners aren't telling you the truth, but they just don't look at the math, that once you're on an income strategy, once you're retired and you can't go back to work, you need to have your principal protected, and you need to have that income taken care of. And then there's things like taxes, and then leaving a legacy, and planning for health care. Those are the other 3 big tenets. And it's not that you need to buy long-term care insurance, but you got to have a plan for how you're going to pay for it.
So, okay, so you have the 5 steps of the retirement master plan. So how do you ensure that it's bulletproof for your income? How do you, what are all the, going into those 5 steps? One of the things we talked about last time was healthcare planning, including long care term. How do you, what do you do to plan for that?
Well, again, it's kind of a big math equation. You know, I'm a nerd. It does say it here in this magazine, is that I'm an engineer by degree. And what we do is we do the math and we figure out what are your expenses first. And there's two ways to do it. Obviously, bottoms up, and this is the best way for those at home doing it, is to figure out where you spend all your money. It's very insightful. If you've never done it, it's worthwhile. If you need to hire a bookkeeper, you know, hire a bookkeeper one time and they'll put it together. They'll put categories and they'll show you with charts and graphs where you're spending your money. Maybe you'll find that you spend too much money in one area or another, going out to eat or clothes or adventures or whatever, based on your
Figure
budget.
out where you could, if you're overspending, where you can.
Yeah, and now other people don't.
down.
They have plenty of money, but it's still having that plan to have solid income to cover all those expenses, all of it. And then you start working the math backwards for healthcare, like long-term care. You know, how much is it going to cost? Well, the average female stays about almost 3 years in a long-term care. It's a little less than that. And then depending on where you want to stay, is it $10,000 to $12,000 a month? Or are you going to do home care at $20,000 to $25,000 a month and multiply that by 12 months times 3 years? Where's that asset? Which asset are you going to use to spend for that? So we kind of look at everybody's situation. The other way to figure out your expenses is top down. How much did you bring in last year? How much did your bank account go up? If it didn't go up at all, it went down, then we can figure out what your expenses are without doing the figuring out how much is your cable TV and your cell phone. So there's two ways for me to figure that out. But once we have that number, kind of that old ING commercial, what's your number? Have your number of what your expenses are. How can we find certainty of income? Like Social Security is certain. If you have a pension, that's certain. But what other sources we can get? And that's what I kind of figure out from a money management perspective. And once that's covered, then we have what I call the 3 Ps, a plan, write it down, for participation, where are we going to get those returns, and protection. How's that money protected from losing? So when the market goes down 27%, you don't. You know, my clients don't take those kind of losses because they don't want to. And people go, well, you can't predict the market. I don't predict the market, but I manage the risk. And that's the biggest thing, is that you actually can manage your risk. I'm going to tell you right now, it's very unfortunate. Most people in the village have no idea how to do that. So they need someone who's a professional, who's a risk manager that can do the financial planning, come up with their strategy, and then protect their money.
Okay, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And then you said there are 3 types of taxes that's a key into this 5-step plan as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, tax sensitivity is really important. You want to make more money, pay less in taxes. I mean, people are always looking for the next Google or Microsoft or whatever that's going to go up tenfold. Well, one way to have more money is just to make sure your tax efficiency. Some stuff is taxed always, like if it's in your name or if it's a joint name with your husband or if you've got a trust, it's in the trust name. Every year you've got to pay taxes on your interest and on your capital gains. But other things are tax deferred, like your IRA. Annuities are tax deferred. But then some things are tax free. Like there's tax-free bonds, there's some insurance that offer tax-free income, and then there's Roth IRAs, which are also income tax-free. The money grows tax-free. And to be truly diversified, it's not just having some money in small companies and big companies and foreign companies, it's having money in all 3 types of those taxations to make sure you have a well-rounded portfolio.
Okay, all right. And then the next thing on it for estate planning essentials. What must you have for, you know, leaving a legacy?
Well, again, titling is the very first thing, and making sure that you know who your beneficiaries are. That's one of the simplest things. And people go, well, you know, I know that I titled it correctly back in 1998 when I opened the account. It's amazing how these firms are always upgrading the custodians, like Charles Schwab. We were with TD Ameritrade, and then it went to Schwab. Well, some of that information gets lost. You want to make sure it's titled correctly of who you want the beneficiaries to be. You want to make sure that if it needs a trust, that you should have a trust, but not everyone needs a trust. You can put it in what's called a TOD or a POD, transfer on death or payable upon death to your beneficiary, and you avoid the Gavin Newsom plan, which is probate. So if you want to avoid probate and not be subject to the state, which is very costly, then you just make sure things are titled correctly and structured accordingly. And we help on all those counts.
Okay. And then you're going to be going over all this stuff in much more detail at the Financial Forum. That's coming up. When's the next one coming?
October 12th, Thursday, Clubhouse 7, 3 to 5 p.m. Coffee and cookies, bring friends. It's a pretty good camaraderie. It's a group discussion as well as a presentation. And again, the Health and Wellness Expo is this weekend, Saturday, 10 to 1 or something like that.
Yes, that's absolutely right. 10 to 1 in Clubhouse 5, the Health and Wellness Expo this Saturday. Awesome. Well, thank you. It's always great to get educated and to be reminded and learn about this stuff. So thank you for coming today. And
Well, Bobby,
sharing with
thank you
us.
for having me. You're
Absolutely.
always wonderful.
All right. So please remember, if you'd like to get educated about Jerry's 5-step retirement plan, then please come to the Financial Forum meeting this Thursday next week, Thursday, October 12th, from 3 to 5 p.m. at Clubhouse 7. If you have any questions, you can contact Leslie Suslowitz at 949-461-5882. Stay with us. We have some great tips coming up with the Orange County Fire Authority. We'll be right back.
Hi, welcome to Pacific Financial Planners. We focus on income replacement for your retirement. We have over 3 decades of professional money management experience. We personalize a plan that's right for you and your family. You only get one shot at retirement. Don't you think you better get it right? So give us a call for your free consultation. We can do this over the phone, via Zoom, or in person.
Orcam Read empowers people with low vision.
Sometimes reading can be a challenge. With Orcam Read, just point and click. Read at work. Read a recipe. Read a magazine. Read anything you want. Orcam Read.
A will is not enough to avoid probate. However, if you have a will, a trust, a complete estate plan, then you will avoid probate. We encourage you to come meet with us. It's complimentary. We'll review the estate plan, make sure that it's current, covers all of your assets, and you're actually protected.
I'd like to personally thank LS Carlson Law for all my family's estate planning needs. I highly recommend them to everyone.
Hi, I'm Linda Honey. I'd be happy to help you and your family. Please call us today.
You don't have to wear the gear to be a firefighter. When you've got something on the stove, an unexpected fire could break out, so be prepared. Stand by your pan while you're cooking. Keep a fire extinguisher close by, and know how to use it. Remember pass, pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. You'll feel like a hero too.
Welcome back to This Day. Joining me now from the Orange County Fire Authority is Captain Brett Cowdell. Captain Brett, so nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in. It's your off day, so really appreciate you coming in. You said you're gonna be mowing the lawn after this today.
I will. My pleasure.
So I was just asking you, it's heating up this week. Nice, beautiful temperatures. Do you enjoy that? You like that, or is that more problematic being in your profession, you know, for potential fires?
Not so much the heat, but the Santa Ana winds. Those, and I believe we're expecting a Santa Ana wind event this week, a mild event. That is what concerns me a little bit more. I work in a station that has one of our brush engines that is called to respond to any fires that happen in the hillsides. And so I'm acutely aware of any incident that might cause that brush fire to spark up, because we could be gone for anywhere from 1 day to 7 or to 14 days. So I'm aware of those things. Yes, the heat does make me perk up a little bit and pay close attention to what's going on out there.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous job for sure. Did you ever consider that, getting into this career, about the danger that could happen with this job?
Growing up in a house with 5 brothers, I kind of found myself geared towards danger, towards daredevil types of things. the aspect that attracted me to this job was truly helping people who needed help, who needed emergency care. I found myself as the ocean lifeguard as a teenager, and I really loved helping in that regard. And so this was a natural extension of that.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're one of 5?
I'm one of 6. I have a sister.
One girl. Now, where does she fall?
She's the oldest.
She's the oldest. And where are you?
I'm towards the bottom.
I love that. I love that. I have 5 as well. 1 daughter, 4 boys. Wow. So I know what you mean about the boys. They're rough and tough, that's for sure. So just recently was the National Falls Prevention Week in conjunction with the National Council on Aging. And so this is something I know you wanted to talk about raising awareness for how to prevent falls among older adults. Most falls are preventable.
They are, and we do see a lot of falls, particularly in Laguna Woods, and there are things people can do to minimize the risk of fall, and so that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah, how can someone, reduce their risk for a fall? What are the steps that they can take?
Well, there are several steps people can take. One of them, of course, is being aware of the condition of your home and making sure that there are grab bars accessible near the shower, near the toilet, that the rugs that are used are non-slip. Anybody that's wearing stockings or socks as winter approaches, to wear socks that have grip so they don't slip and fall. And lighting is always appropriate. We need to make sure that lighting is appropriate so people can see, so that if there's a step, if the steps are marked, people can avoid any mishaps or falls. Yeah, that's the first step.
These are the common things in the house: the loose rug, the pet that darts out, or getting up in the middle of the night, not having enough light to see. And yeah, as you said, wearing socks. I didn't even think about that. You probably should wear something with a tread on it, if not the socks with the sticky on it. One of the other things that I looked up was about balance, finding a balance or exercise program. That it's a lot of people believe that reducing your level of activity will help to reduce a fall, but actually that's just the opposite. You should be doing things to have better balance.
That's right.
As well.
People really, it's never too late to start. It's never too late to build muscle. It's never too late to be aware of weaknesses and strengths that you might have in your physical fitness and to work on balance. I know here in Laguna Woods there are balance classes that are offered, and it's important for people to get involved to work on balance so that if there is ever an incident where they get dizzy or they might slip and fall, that they do have a better chance of catching themselves before any injury can occur. So yeah, muscles, working on core strength, working on balance, that will definitely help minimize the risk of fall.
And according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 of 4 older Americans fall each year, and then a single fall doubles the chance of falling again. So prevention is absolutely key, and prevention is possible. What about some of the other things that people can do, such as going to the doctor, checking your medications,
Absolutely.
things like this?
There's a couple things people can do. Number 1 is being aware of your medication and your diet. If anybody's gone through particular weight loss or weight gain, medications might not be in the appropriate dosage anymore because sometimes they're based on weight. So if you're on a blood pressure medication, if you're on a diabetic medication, you might have your blood sugar out of balance or your blood pressure out of balance, and that can cause people to become dizzy and fall. Also, being aware of areas of common occurrence is very, very important. Most falls, 80% of falls occur in the bathroom where there are slippery surfaces, and the shower where people can fall and particularly get hurt on tile or hard surfaces. That's important. And then when people get out of bed, sometimes people get out of bed momentarily at night, it's important to sit up for just a moment to let your vasculature adjust. As we age, our vasculature takes longer to adjust, so if we sit at the bedside for just 30 seconds before getting up, maybe to use the bathroom or to get a snack, that can help prevent falls too. People get up in the middle of the night and they need to turn on the appropriate lighting so they can see where they're stepping. All of these things will help people to be safe and not fall.
Wow, yeah, I guess that's, you don't realize when all of a sudden you could get just a little dizzy for a moment, from laying down and sitting up all this rapidly, so that makes sense. And
yeah, I notice it myself.
Yeah.
I'm 52, and even at my age, I'm noticing that if sometimes I get up too quickly, I can feel it in my head. And that just continues to grow as we age. Your vasculature just takes time to adjust to gravity.
And you mentioned diet, because yeah, I have the same thing, like, oh, I skipped breakfast today, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing stars. It's like, oh, wait a minute, why is that happening?
All of that can happen, yeah.
So, makes sense. So you have an updated senior fall prevention facts sheet, and a couple of the facts that kind of stuck out to me. 35% of adults 65 and older suffer traumatic brain injuries after a fall. 87% of fractures in adults over 65 years are a result of falls. Most alarming of all, of the older adults who suffer a hip fracture from a fall, 25% will make a full recovery, 40% will require nursing home care, 50% will need a cane or walker, and 20% will die within 12 months. I mean, that's some scary statistics.
Yeah, they're startling statistics. We really want people to be aware of those statistics because when a fall results in an injury, particularly a bone break or a hip fracture, God forbid, those are difficult to recover from. The fatality rate or the mortality rate does increase significantly with a hip fracture. And as we age, our bones just get more brittle. They do. And it's important to be aware of that and to take the proper steps so that we don't fall, so that we can avoid that bone break and stay safe and stay healthy and live long to see those people that we love.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you, I'm sure you have, dealt with this issue where you've been called out when someone has fallen. What are the steps, you know, the fire department or the paramedics take when they come out and someone has fallen?
Well, most falls seem to come at night. So we get called out of bed, we come in, we appreciate it when there's a way into the home. Sometimes the door is locked and people have a key with a neighbor or hidden somewhere, and that sometimes can be kept in our notes. So we have a way in, and as we approach the patient, we try to make sure that we know the extent of the injuries. We check for head and neck injury first because that's the most important thing, and then we look for any other injuries throughout the body because falls can result in those injuries. The signs that we look for in a hip fracture is shortening and rotation of the affected leg or on the side that might have the fracture. If the leg is particularly short or if it's rotated externally, that's one red flag that we look for in a hip fracture. So when we see that, we treat very carefully. We can give pain medication, and then we do rapid transport to the hospital for immediate treatment.
Okay, and do you always recommend they should be taken, like if they do hit their head and like, no, I'm fine, I'm okay, do you always recommend they should go in and get it checked?
You know, it depends on the severity of the fall. We do recommend that people call us out, that they do call us and check us to see if they need transport. We will help them make that determination. If a fall results in the person falling to a seated position, the odds of injury are much more minimized. But if it results in a head injury as they hit the nightstand, then maybe we will transport the patient to the hospital to get that head injury or that leg fracture looked at, yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for this definitely very informative information, and I'm sure it'd be great, very good to know to prevent falls. So thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
All right, let's take a quick look at weather today. Today we will have brilliant sunshine and warm temperatures, a high of 86. Tomorrow, again, it'll be sunny and warm with a high of 88. Friday, sunny and nice. Saturday, more sun, and Sunday will be a little bit of clouds, but then sun. So beautiful week ahead. Taking a look ahead tomorrow, Memorial Care will be with us, and also Old Pros. That's it for this day. I'm Bobby Higgins. Be sure to check us out again at 12:30 and 5 p.m. or anytime on Village Television's YouTube channel. Have a great day, everyone.